one of the only citizens consistently over the last 25, 30 years that has stood up to the school board. Is that true?
Well, I think I am a voice against everything they do, and maybe I shouldn't be against everything.
Okay.
But anyway, it don't make sense what they're doing. No brick or mortar, no matter how nice they make that school building out there, educates a kid. It's still the teacher standing inside the room that counts. And then some of that stuff, I had one janitor that retired. He says there was absolutely nothing wrong with the cafeteria. They completely gutted and did over. But anyway, it ain't their money, so they don't care.
Well, Jack, I hear you're involved with the Veterans Association, that word is around that you've attended quite a lot of funerals in the recent past. Tell us about that.
Well, if the friend that's on our honor guard, when he was in charge of North Springs, if he was short, I'd go to North Springs, but I don't count them.
Okay.
But anyway, I've done 515 funerals now, and I call it my community service. And when you get to community service, I got one agitator that makes me happy when he complains to me, Jack Hood. And anyway, complain about everything I do, Jack, because I enjoy reading it in the Globe. But anyway, I don't think he pulls any community service, and he's probably got as much extra time as I do. But anyway, you got to do something for the citizens of this town besides being a critic. To make and spend all that money out there, there was nothing wrong with the buildings to start with. And just for example, my daughter-in-law was here. She teaches out in North Carolina. Out there at her school anyway, they're taking all the nice booths out of the cafeteria because they aren't practical. Here in our school system, we're putting in booths. I haven't seen what they look like.
Right.
But I think booths around kids, the way they act this day and age with pencils and knives, is a waste of, how nice are they going to look 3 years from now?
That's a very good question.
And as far as the safe room goes, I think if you check with any architect in Mason City, the whole area underneath the high school is a safe room.
Okay.
It's already there. How long would kids last this day and age without their folks taking care of them? Not very long. Most of them don't know how to add and subtract, and I don't even think they teach home ec anymore to learn how to cook. Maybe they do, but I don't ever hear about it.
So you kind of have an issue of the curriculum as well, then, it sounds like.
With just about everything. But anyway, I don't think, as long as I've been arguing with the school boards, I don't think there's ever been a year that they haven't got a pay raise. And the one thing I laugh about...
Are you referring to the school administration?
The whole works out there every year gets a pay raise. The teachers and everybody
Okay,
connected.
teachers, the school boards are volunteer, but you're talking about
Right,
teachers and administrators.
everybody
Okay.
connected. Just like this year, between the teachers and between the other personnel, that's awful close to $1 million more is costing the taxpayers for their budget, and they always complain, we got to get the levies so we got more money.
What would you say if Anita Misich was standing right here today next to you? What would you have to say to her?
I would say, I've talked to her, and she's always treated me nice.
Sure.
That's more I can say for Sursling.
Yeah.
In Sursling, I always figured the few times I talked to him, he'd get so mad just on a simple question.
Sure.
I stayed back an extra couple inches just because I always figured he was so mad at me, especially after I beat him the first time, that he was going to hit me just to make him feel good, which I think had been a mistake on his part.
Might have been.
But anyway.
She is respectful, but if you wanted to say something to her, what would it be on camera where everyone could see it?
Well, I think they're nuts. And if they don't think Mason City's in hard times, they ought to get around and talk to the people that pay the property tax. And I'll tell you something else. If you go for the levies, let's have the levies votes when the weather's decent instead of when 600 people are out of town for the winter. And if anybody goes out of town, if they want to mail me at my house a letter that's stamped, I'll send them an absentee ballot so they can vote if the levies do come up. And the first levy since Mitch been here was 2008, and that was in March, and they got beat. So the next time they had the levy, it was in February.
Sure.
In any way.
Keep bringing it back is what you're saying.
Well, they bring it back when there's less people in Mason City.